This evening, former Prime Minister Samuel Hinds supports a COI, but within context. Neighbors of boy in leaked photos allege a history of sexual victimization. Mr. Hinds also discusses the PPP and Roger Khan. In the region, in Trinidad and Tobago, High Court has landmark ruling regarding Facebook posts. And internationally, President of the Maldives declares a state of emergency.
From Safe TV headquarters in South Rival Gardens, this is Safe TV Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Today is Tuesday, February the 6th, 2018, and this edition of Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. Guyana and Singapore have signed an air services agreement. The signing of this landmark document makes the legal framework for airlines to fly any number of services between both countries, as well as beyond to any third country with no restrictions. According to the Guyana Civil Aviation Authority, there will be no restrictions on capacity, frequency, aircraft type, and routing. In addition, cargo carriers will be able to base aircraft in each other's countries and use the base as a hub of operations to any third country. The agreement also allows for code sharing where airlines of both countries can partner with other airlines to facilitate services to each other's market. Singapore's Prime Minister was quoted as saying the Open Skies Agreement will fully liberalize air services between Singapore and Guyana. In this exclusive interview with Wendell Jeffrey, former Prime Minister Sam Hinds talks about the connection between politics, crime, and Roger Khan.
President Jagdeo has pointed out that at many times he was told by the GDF at the time that we can't apprehend people without policemen. But when they apprehended the group that had the special technological computer to track cell calls,
it was the military alone.
They moved without policemen.
Okay, good.
In fact, let me tell you, I was at that. I did meet Roger Khan once myself.
Prime Minister Samuel Hinds spoke from his heart to Channel 2 Headline News in the context of the recent call by President David Granger for commissions of inquiry into the deaths that occurred during the PPP era, many of which were tied to Roger Khan. So now we have a situation where a preponderance of the military were acting with...
I may not even say preponderance.
A significant...
30% significant. A significant amount. In levels and so on.
In the upper echelon, the hierarchical structure. Okay, good. Mr. Hinds said that the failure of the armed forces, which was encouraged by the PNC, brought forth the era of Roger Khan and his killing squads. In comes a young man named Roger Khan.
Yes.
Tell me what happened.
Well, as I have said, this period when mostly Indo-Guyanese, but also maybe some non-Indo-Guyanese who were supporters of the PPPC were being stolen, things being stolen, robbed from them, and so on and so on. And the IAC and them, I think, have the list on $150 or more million or something. During this period, when when the security forces were being remarkably unsuccessful to capture people, it prompted and it evoked people who said, look, the goddamn government ain't it, and the formal security forces don't seem to be or don't want to be capture these people, and they formed their own irregular force.
I asked the former Prime Minister if the intelligence operations of the PPP government at the time ever informed them of Roger Khan and his nefarious activities.
Once you're reading the newspapers and what was happening, it would be clear that that people had formed a group.
I pressed the Prime Minister to say whether the then PPP government had more detailed intelligence reports on Roger Khan than was appearing in the newspapers. Are you telling me that when Roger Khan began his force, that the only intelligence the president was receiving at the time was newspaper reports, that the president didn't have access to intelligence?
I would expect that he had other intelligence.
So
yes.
He knew of Roger Khan and the operation?
I would say that he would have had word of him, yes.
After the Prime Minister admitted that his government knew about Roger Khan and what he was doing, I asked Mr. Hines why the PPPC government did not rein in Roger Khan. Why did he not rein in or sought to rein in Roger Khan?
That's a very good question, a specific question. We'll have to revert back to, we'll have to go through the period and see whether there was such opportunity or an occasion, whether things could be pinned on him, whether you could say that he had done this, he had done the other.
So the Prime Minister said also that while the president at the time, Barra Jagdeo, did have intelligence on Roger Khan, Mr. Jagdeo also had information on those in the military who were aiding the racial unrest.
I would say he had lots of intelligence. He had intelligence too of people in the security forces who were facilitating this.
So then, would you say
that inability of the security forces to apprehend
correct.
People?
So I asked the Prime Minister if this does not mean that the then government was facilitating Roger Khan. So that you would want to also say by deduction that Roger Khan was facilitated by the administration in as much as Roger Khan...
No, I would say that the same issues that would have constrained the president in acting against, let us say, even officers in the security forces who were not carrying out the role that they should. Those same sorts of considerations, maybe lack of formal evidence to go to court with and so on, lack of formal evidence to make a case. I would say those same sorts of considerations would have been in the case of Roger Khan. In fact,
in a subsequent report, you will hear of the encounter with Prime Minister Hines and Roger Khan. You will also understand how Mr. Hines feels about the Commission of Inquiry. For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Don't go away. We have more news for you after the break. For the best Creole food in town, come to Ridley's Restaurant. Taste our hot meals, fresh bread, and sweet pastries. Our spacious dining hall is free for all occasions. For reservations and more, call 226-2518 or 225-7245. We're open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wrigley's Restaurant, located at 38 Robb Street, Laceytown, between King and Wellington Streets. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Ridley's Restaurant. Tasty and healthy eating.
is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Welcome back. Accusations continue to swirl around Otis Otisha Pearson. While he says the, quote, little boy, end quote, is of age, many of his neighbors beg to differ. Esther Sobers brings us that story.
As I continued my investigative report on Otis Otisha Pearson, I uncovered some disturbing information. Several concerned neighbors confirmed that the young boy seen in the photo with Otisha is in fact underage.
Normally he used to go to school somewhere up Micah, I understand. And the air that say he had some friendship with some Latisha, somebody, me I know some man, anti-man. Because at night the brother come and beat you up. That's what we know about the story. At night the brother come from town and beat you up. And so we get to understand about this friendship with this young man, the anti-man. They say he gets some phone from the anti-man. Me I know. He live with his parents. The mother presently right out of the country. The father is there with him. And the father try his utmost best. But the father not able with them.
How old is this young man?
He's about 13.
The neighbor even recounted the day she heard about the leaked images on social media and the fact that the young boy was beaten by family members for the images.
The brother cussed me out and tell him, say, boy, you know what do with tea and so on, because he know there with anti-man.
The story took a more disturbing turn after the woman alleged that the photo may have been leaked because Otisha was having a sexual relationship with the boy's older brother.
The brother been there with the same anti-man too. So,
how old is the brother?
The brother must be like in his 20s. Yes, 30. They said the brother been there with the anti-man. Some hear rumor yesterday that the brother been there with the anti-man, and now the anti-man now want, because he find out now that the brother there with he too. The man said the young brother more sweet.
Another neighbor hinted that Otisha was involved with the boy's older brother and now is in a relationship with the younger man. The neighbor even suggests that Otisha financially supports him and recently brought the young man an iPhone 6.
It's a phone, you have seen it by yourself. It's a phone call. So my cousin was to bring 100,000 and some phone. He said, oh, if you get a phone call, he disappear. You never see back till he come the night and say, man, hey, I get you with the phone.
Additionally, the neighbor said that his brother saw the young man with Otisha at a gay club in Monrepo.
My brother said he saw him once and he came off at Monrepo at the lesbian bar.
No child should become the victim of an alleged sexual predator. Since the photos were leaked, concerned neighbors noted that the boy is constantly being taunted by villagers.
Every day somebody in the spas and call the boy bugger, buck. You understand me? Yes, every day, 3-4 times a day. And I was saying that this could lead to this child committing suicide. You understand me? Because when people pass in daily, 3-4 times and saying that, you understand me? And if you're a mother with children, right, you feels for people's children. Yeah.
The villagers are calling for the intervention of the Child Care and Protection Agency and the police into the matter. For Channel 2 Headline News, I'm Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. The Guyana Police Force is expected to see some changes, with several senior officers set to proceed on annualized and accumulated leave. Among the officers so entitled are Senior Superintendent and Commander of C Division, Calvin Brutus, Senior Superintendent and Commander of F Division, Ravindrat Budram, and Traffic Chief, Superintendent Dion Moore. Assistant Commissioner of Police and A Division Commander Marlon Chapman will be leaving Assistant Commissioner Leslie James to take over A Division. Senior Superintendent Karen Bask of E Division will be taking over D Division during James's temporary reassignment. This leaves Superintendent Vi Hydron to head E Division, while Senior Superintendent Edmund Cooper will head over to C Division. Senior Superintendent Kevin Adonis will be holding the fort for Senior Superintendent Budram in F Division. Budram reportedly has the most accumulated time of all the officers proceeding on leave. Superintendent Ashram will be taking up the post of Traffic Chief in Moore's absence. A senior officer serving in C Division is expected to head the Tactical Service Unit for Senior Superintendent Kevin Adonis. After the return of Commissioner of Police Silal Prasad from leave, Assistant Commissioner of Police David Ramnarine went on leave. As a consequence, Assistant Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken is performing the functions of Assistant Commissioner of Administration, while Force Finance Officer Nigel Hoopy is functioning as the Assistant Commissioner of Operations. Former Prime Minister Sam Hinds is not against a commission of inquiry into the crime wave during the previous administration. Nonetheless, he demands that the government take a holistic view of the violence. Wendell Jeffries sat down for an exclusive interview with Mr. Hinds and filed this report.
Former President and Prime Minister Samuel Hinds is of the view that for any commission of inquiry to be objective, it should go back to the days when the PNC facilitated the conditions that gave birth to Roger Khan.
That era started, in my view, you can put it as starting in the PPPC win at the 1997 elections. Guyana is a country of its 6 peoples coming together. We were never together. Afro-Guyanese have been feeling that Indo-Guyanese, a party, the party that many Indo-Guyanese supported, was likely to win fair and free elections. And that was, frankly, the motivation for Mr. Burnham at the time to go to rigged elections. When we won, they were upset and so on, but then they seemed to have a year or two of tolerance. But now as 97 elections come, and it looks like the PPP will win again, it's all hell break loose.
Mr. Hinds said that that year, 1997, was the year that really began the era of death.
When we did win at 97, you had burnings, you had the marches, you had the total unacceptance. In fact, the country seemed to be on the razor's edge. Okay. We were almost on a trajectory of maybe civil war and total burning down and so on. It seemed at that time that we were on that trajectory.
The former Prime Minister said that an influential faction of the PNC, together with both the army and the police, were directly involved in creating the unrest of the post-1997 elections. Do you think that the powers that be, the administrative powers that obtained at the time within the PNC, condoned or facilitated this?
Maybe a few did. And we're talking 1997, I would say in 2008, we have that tape. But if one accepts the tape, one would see that someone who was on the vice chairman at the time of the PNC and a person who was the commissioner of police at the time had a conversation which seemed to suggest that the commissioner of police was acting to favor the PNC. But it seemed to be that they were arranging things, that the vice chairman of the PNC was thanking the then chief commissioner of police for arranging things and doing things that were favorable.
Okay, you're going on record to say that you believe that some of the administrators of the PNC at the time facilitated this unrest that obtained?
Yes, it looks so. It looks so, and encouraged it. When the January the 12th attack on Indo-Guyanese in Georgetown, 200 beaten. So they report that the people around and the police did basically nothing.
According to Mr. Hines, the armed forces were working directly with the opposition PNC, and they simply allowed the unrest to continue.
The regular security forces were being particularly remarkably unsuccessful in apprehending these people. You had them being projected as freedom fighters.
Good.
Even more, there are reports that on the GDF side, some of the GDF crews would see the people to be apprehended, but they had orders that they had to call back.
So you're saying, as former president, former prime minister, you're saying that during those times that the military arm, both the security forces received political support to facilitate the anarchy that obtained.
Yes, and some of them were so inclined. There were others who wanted to be professional,
but for the most part,
wanted to begin. For a significant and important part, yes.
Okay. The former prime minister is arguing that the COI should start from 1997. He believes that if that is done, it will implicate senior members of the PNC and even members of the current administration. For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Join us after the break for your regional news, international news.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
For the best Creole food in town, come to Ridley's Restaurant. Taste our hot meals, fresh bread, and sweet pastries. Our spacious dining hall is free for all occasions. For reservations and more, call 226-2518 or 225-7245. We're open Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Wrigley's Restaurant, located at 38 Robb Street, Laceytown, between King and Wellington Streets. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Ridley's Restaurant. Tasty and healthy eating. Welcome back. And we now take a look at the region. In Trinidad and Tobago, watch what you post on Facebook. This after High Court Judge Frank Seepersad ruled that posts made on Janelle Burke's Facebook account were indeed defamatory and libelous. C News reports.
Watch what you post on your Facebook. This after High Court Judge Frank Seepersad today ruled that posts made on Janelle Burke's account were indeed defamatory and libelous. Burke's post suggested a family had been engaging in incestuous activity. The post prompted an investigation by the Children's Authority in an 18-page ruling. Justice Seepersad said it is difficult to fathom how any right-thinking member of society would contemplate to publish words such as these posted on the defendant's Facebook account. He added that too often members of the public felt social media posts were private and this notion needed to be dispelled. He said in the absence of legislation that specifically addresses the use of social media and its real-world implications, the common law has to be developed so as to address and curtail the risk of harm. Justice Seepersad ruled that Burke pay to her victims damages and costs, which shall be assessed by a master in chambers at a later date.
And internationally, an opposition leader and 2 Supreme Court judges in the Maldives have been arrested. Former President Maumoon Abdul Gayoom, who has allied himself with the opposition, was detained at his home, while the Chief Justice and a judge were also arrested. The president has declared a 15-day state of emergency and the military is now in charge of the parliament. Al Jazeera's Osama bin Javid reports.
Just hours after a state of emergency was declared in the island nation of Maldives, this boat carries a prominent opposition leader to the country's main jail on a remote island. Maumoon Abdul Gayoom was arrested on charges of bribery, which the opposition says is politically motivated. His family released a video earlier in which he urged his supporters not to lose hope.
Police came to arrest me. I'm going with them. I don't even know why they are arresting me. I've done nothing wrong or unlawful. I urge the people of the Maldives to be strong and stand with us. We will win.
Abdul Gayoom was arrested with 2 judges, further deepening the political crisis. It all began on Thursday when the Supreme Court called for the retrial of 9 opposition politicians, including exiled former President Mohamed Nasheed. Judges also reinstated 12 MPs who had lost their seats for supporting the opposition. But President Abdullah Yameen refused to comply with the ruling and celebrations turned into protests. Yameen also declared a 15-day state of emergency and ordered the military to secure the parliament building for an indefinite period.
Any effort to impeach the president would be blocked by the military and the police force. So the parliament cannot function and the Supreme Court cannot function at the moment.
In addition to the 2 judges, police raided the house of the administrative head of the Supreme Court. The court says police didn't have enough evidence to arrest the judicial executive. President Yameen, who happens to be the half-brother of arrested leader Abdul Gayoom, came to power in 2013. That was a year after Maldivian police and army overthrew President Mohamed Nasheed. But in a shaky democracy, President Yameen has also faced similar allegations of becoming authoritarian and being corrupt. The Supreme Court was expected to rule favorably on a petition to impeach Yameen. Opposition leaders allege the president's loyalists made it clear that they would not comply with such a verdict and launched a crackdown. For now, the country, best known for its tranquil beaches, is struggling to deal with yet another round of political turmoil. Osama bin Javid, Al Jazeera.
Now for your 7-day weather forecast. Here's this week's bridge retraction schedule and today's foreign currency exchange rates. And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 Headline News on Facebook and YouTube. You can also tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast, and Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from this newscast, saying thank you for welcoming us into your homes, and do have a blessed evening.